What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Detroit Lions video. Now, as everybody knows, the Detroit Lions last week traded Matthew Stafford to the Rams in exchange for quarterback Jared Goff, 2 future first-round picks, and a third-round pick in this class. However, with the recent reports and recent rumors coming out about different teams' trade value and what certain franchises offered the Detroit Lions for Matt Stafford, there's been a lot of argument and there's been a lot of discrepancy among Lions fans talking about, well, was the Rams pick the best pick? Was this pick, was the 2 first, Jared Goff and a third, the best value the Lions could have got out of Matt Stafford, considering 2 different teams reportedly offered top 10 picks in this draft class? Now, before we get into talking about Matt Stafford's value, the trade in general, and whether or not the Lions did get the best possible value out of Matt Stafford. If you are new to the channel and are enjoying this Detroit Lions content, please consider liking the videos and subscribing to the channel. It takes just 2 seconds out of your day to do so. It helps the channel out more than you could know. It's quick, it's free, it's easy. I'd be super appreciative for it. With all that being said, and without any further ado, let's get into taking a look at this Matthew Stafford trade and deciding, did the Lions get the best value out of their franchise quarterback? Now, as I said, recently there have been a lot of rumors and a lot of reports that come out that a lot of different NFL franchises were interested in Matthew Stafford, and reportedly there were 2 different franchises that were offering up top 10 draft picks in this class alone. Now, the first offer, and I think the most intriguing offer that a lot of Lions fans are disappointed we didn't take our shot with, is the Carolina offer. And reportedly, the Carolina Panthers called up the Detroit Lions and offered their number 8 overall pick in the draft, along with a late round pick in this class as well. Now, this is a very good offer from the Carolina Panthers. Obviously, the 8th overall pick would be an incredibly valuable asset for the Detroit Lions. It would give them back-to-back picks in the top 10, and it would give them a lot of wiggle room and would give them a lot of flexibility in this draft class. However, I do believe people overvalue top 10 picks. And while top 10 picks are very important, and you can get franchise players, I mean, you can get your Peyton Manning, your Joe Burrow, or your Trevor Lawrence at number 1 or in the top 10, those picks can be extremely valuable. And if you hit on those top 10 picks, they can be the top players in the NFL. I think a lot of people overvalue top 10 picks because people in the top 10 and players drafted in the top 10 are just as likely to be bust as players in the top 20 or top 30, bottom 10 of the first round. No matter when you go in the NFL draft, whether it be the number 1 pick or the last pick in the NFL draft, everybody is on the same playing field. And I get that the concept of, having an earlier pick means you get a best player. That is the concept and that is the philosophy behind it. But that's not always how that ends up. And that's not always how the trade, and that's not always how the draft picks work out. I mean, if you just look at this past class by itself, you have Justin Jefferson, Kenneth Murray, Cesar Ruiz, Brandon Ayuk, Patrick Queen, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire all going after the 20th selection. Whereas you had guys like Jeff Okudah and Andrew Thomas and Tua Tagovailoa taken in the top 5, whereas all those players I mentioned drafted in the bottom 20 of the NFL draft. And you look at those 3 players drafted in the top 5, all 3 of them failed to live up to expectations. And that's not saying they can't be good players. That's not saying they won't be good players in the NFL. But if you were to ask any of the Detroit Lions, the Giants, or the Miami Dolphins, would they take Justin Jefferson, Kenneth Murray, Cesar Ruiz, Brandon Ayuk, Patrick Queen, or Clyde Edwards-Helaire's production over what they got out of their draft selection? I would guarantee you that they would say yes, because Jeff Okudah disappointed his rookie season. Andrew Thomas, very disappointing his rookie season. Tua Tagovailoa, very disappointing his rookie season. All 3 of those top 5 draft picks failed to live up to expectations, whereas a lot of the bottom 20 of the first round lived up and surpassed expectations that were set upon them. And all of those players, especially Justin Jefferson, really exploded in their rookie season. And I would say any of those top 5 teams would take Justin Jefferson over their pick in a heartbeat. I get that the whole thing with the top 10 pick, that's number 7 and the number 8 pick, that is a super intriguing offer by the Carolina Panthers. And that is one that, even me as a Lions fan had to look at and say, well, what could we have done with 2 top 10 picks? That could give us Parsons and Wilson. That could could let us move up to get Wilson and somebody else. There's a lot of different ways the Lions could have gone with pick 8 and pick number 7. However, I do believe the 2 first-round picks by the Los Angeles Rams are going to be more valuable for the Lions in the long run than the number 8 overall pick in this draft class. Now, similarly to the Carolina Panthers, the Denver Broncos also offered their top 10 selection, offering their number 9 selection in the NFL draft along with quarterback Drew Lock. Now, I do believe the Denver Broncos are in a very similar situation to the Carolina Panthers, whereas it's a very high, pick, obviously a top 10 pick in the class. It would give the Lions 2 picks in the top 10 within this draft class and would give the Detroit Lions a quarterback to develop into the future so they wouldn't have to use a pick on a quarterback in this draft class. However, I do believe it's a very similar situation to the Lions, whereas I believe the Rams' 2 first-round draft picks in the long run will be more valuable than the number 9 pick in this class, as well as I do believe Jared Goff is just a better all-around quarterback than Drew Lock. Now, those were really the 2 big offers made to the Detroit Lions. Obviously, the big offers being top 10 draft picks, and in the Denver Broncos case, a potential franchise quarterback. However, as I said, just because you have a top 10 draft pick does not mean you're guaranteed to draft a superstar. Just because you have a top 10 draft pick does not mean you are guaranteed to get a franchise player. And in fact, it's actually more likely in the top 10 and especially the top 5 that you get a draft bust versus the guy that you think you're drafting. And again, that's not to say Okudah can't be great. That's not to say Andrew Thomas or Tua Tagovailoa or any top 10 draft pick that might not have lived up to expectation this year. That doesn't mean that those players can't be good. That doesn't mean they're not going to earn their top 5 status. They're not going to become good or great franchise players. But all I'm saying is top 10 draft pick does not guarantee you a great player. And for me, the Lions having 2 late first round picks is going to be more valuable to them than having a top 10 pick where they're just as likely to miss. So for me, having 2 draft picks, 2 selections, along with more time to evaluate the roster and the talent you're drafting, as well as having an ability to see their combine, their pro day, and hopefully a full season next year, I do believe the future first round picks and the more future first round picks that any other team was offering was the better value for the Detroit Lions. Now, looking at some of the other offers that are a little less exciting, the Washington football team offered pick 19 and their 3rd round pick. To me, this is going to be similar value to what we see out of the LA Rams. We're going to see playoff value every single year, so we're going to see pick 20 to 32 somewhere in there. However, with the Los Angeles Rams offer, we're going to see the Rams, obviously, we're getting 2 chances at it, along with getting more time to evaluate the roster and the players that we're going to be drafting, as I just previously stated. Now, the San Francisco 49ers also offered 2 seconds and 2 thirds. Again, a very solid offer, but the Detroit Lions were looking for that first round pick to really capitalize off of Matt Stafford. Indianapolis reportedly offered a package of players and picks. However, none of the picks were fully disclosed to the public. However, it was said that the first round pick was not in play with Indianapolis. So that could be a very interesting trade partner. It said, all I could find was it was a package of players and picks. So I don't know what picks and what players were offered to Detroit, but without knowing that, I can't say that it was a better offer. And the likelihood of the Colts offering, a Darius Leonard or a DeForest Buckner for the Detroit Lions would be very, very unlikely. So to me, until I know what picks and what players were offered, I cannot say that trade partner was better for the Detroit Lions either. The Detroit Lions had Chicago and New England show interest. However, there were a 0% chance of those trades going through. Obviously, the Lions might not be the greatest franchise, but they're not stupid enough to trade a franchise quarterback to a division rival. And Matt Stafford said there is no way on this earth that he will be going to New England. Now, the Jets also reportedly have interest in Matt Stafford. However, they did not officially send in an offer for the quarterback. So those were really the picks, and those were the situations and the trade partners that the Detroit Lions potentially had to ship off Matt Stafford. Obviously, those 7 trade partners along with the Los Angeles Rams who actually had the deal go through. So in my opinion, looking at all of those picks, looking at all of those bundles, all of those packages to receive and ship off Matthew Stafford, I truly believe the Los Angeles Rams got the best offer, and I do believe they set up the best offer for Matt Stafford, and I believe the Lions got this trade 100% right. Not only, I mentioned this several times before, I think the Lions got more value out of Matt Stafford than what was expected. They had the best offer on the table out of every single team in the running for Matt Stafford. And in my opinion, the fact that we got the most picks out of the Los Angeles Rams, we're going to get more time to evaluate the picks, the teams, and the players. I think all together, along with the franchise quarterback or the potential franchise quarterback in Jared Goff, I truly believe the Rams offer was the best out of everybody within the market for Matt Stafford. You look at the Los Angeles Rams, and a lot of people are going to say, Jared Goff's contract is horrible. The Los Angeles Rams are not going to have a high pick at any time in the next couple of years, so we're getting stuck with a average quarterback with a bad contract and late first round picks to get rid of Matt Stafford when we could have a top 10 pick. And if you look at it from that perspective, yeah, you could say we might have got better value. However, looking at a first round pick, a late first round pick, like it doesn't count as a first round pick is a ridiculous notion. And a lot of people, a lot of Lions fans and a lot of NFL fans look at top 10 picks as this almighty thing. They look at these top 10 picks as these, for sure, Hall of Fame type players, that they can get immediately and they have 100% success rate with. And they look at picks in the bottom 20, 20 to 32 and think these don't even really count as first round picks because they're basically second round picks, where that notion just is not true. And I think a lot of NFL fans need to come to this realization. Late first round picks are actually sometimes more valuable, and generally they are better value than top 10 picks. And now let me explain what I mean by that, because I kind of touched on this earlier, but going back through the years and looking at players drafted pick 20 or below, there are a lot of good players in those selections. Picks 20 to 32 and even very beginning of the second round, those are incredibly valuable players. And a lot of the players drafted from 20 to 32, not only in 2020, but also 2019 and 2018, would be players that if they were to redraft would go extremely high and would go much higher in the draft. Obviously, looking at this past draft, looking at 2020, I already touched on this, but Justin Jefferson, Kenneth Murray, Cesar Ruiz, Brandon Ayuk, Patrick Queen, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire all went between that 20 and 32 range. The year prior in 2019, Darnell Savage, Josh Jacobs, Marquise Brown, Deebo Samuel, DK Metcalf, AJ Brown, Miles Sanders, and Greedy Williams all went after the 20th pick. And then if you go back just a year prior to that, in the 2018 draft, Frank Ragnow was selected at pick 20, DJ Moore was picked after 20, Calvin Ridley was after the 20th pick, Lamar Jackson and Sony Michel were also taken after that 20th overall pick. So the idea that you can't get a franchise player, the idea that you can't get a good player in the first round unless it's a top 10, 15 pick is a ridiculous notion. And that is a notion that a lot of Lions fans and a lot of NFL fans have. That's an idea that's been put in their head for so long, and they're just willing to go along with it, where that's not even true. That's not a true statement. It's actually more often and more likely that with a late first round pick, you're going to get better value out of a player, and it's more likely that you get better value and better production out of a late first round pick than it is out of a early first round pick. Now, I'm not saying that a top 10 pick is a bad thing. I'm obviously not saying that, and obviously you can get great picks and you can get great players with top 10 picks. Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, Matthew Stafford, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence. You got a lot. You can get a franchise quarterback. You can get a franchise player with the first overall pick, with the second overall pick, and any pick in the top 10. The same can also be said for any pick in the NFL draft. You look at the NFL draft, and a lot of fans look at the NFL draft and say, if you don't have a top 10 pick, you won't get a great player. That is not true. Tom Brady went with the 199th pick. Lamar Jackson went with the 32nd overall pick. You look at DK Metcalf, second rounder. You look at Justin Jefferson, 20th overall pick. Frank Ragnow, 20th overall pick. The Lions can do a lot of damage with 2 first round picks, regardless of where they sit in the NFL draft. Regardless of if they sit at number 1 or if they sit at number 32, there will be very good talent at the Lions first round picks in the coming years, regardless of where the Rams rank and regardless of where the Rams finish in 2020. 2022 and 2023. And the fact that the Detroit Lions now with those future picks have more time to evaluate the roster, more time to evaluate the college football prospects, have the ability to see likely and hopefully get the ability to see them in a full college football season without restrictions, get to see them play at a combine and at a pro day, and really get to see these players play without restrictions of COVID-19, that will give the Detroit Lions front office more time to evaluate the prospects, better evaluate the team and the holes on this team, and really give them the best opportunity to draft the best player for the team. With all that being said, that's all I got for you guys today. Again, I think the Rams got the best offer. I think the Rams offered up the most value and the best value for our franchise quarterback. But of course, I'm sure it will be up for debate as it has been before. So let me know down in the comments, what do you think about the trade? Do you think the Lions got the best value out of Matt Stafford? Do you think the Rams offer was the best? Or if you're a manager of the Detroit Lions, do you go with Carolina's offer, Denver's offer, or somebody else's? Let me know that down in the comments below. I'd be very interested to see what you guys think about the situation. However, with all that being said, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you all so very much for watching the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, let me know in the comments below, do you think the Lions got the best value for Matt Stafford? With all that being said, that's all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. If there is Lions news before tomorrow, then I will obviously make a video letting every single person know. But until then, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you all so much for watching the video. I'll see you all tomorrow in the Lions Live Talk. Thank you all for watching. Bye, guys.